Now, a good resource for you is to go to the PERB website. And PERB is the Public Employment Relations Board, PERB, and go to their website at www.perb.com, and they have all the decertification rules on there for PERB jurisdiction organizations. And PERB covers a wide array of employee organizations within California. PERB has a whole set of decertification procedures and rules and forms that you can use as a template, and that may in fact apply to you if there are not local rules that otherwise come into play. Now, speaking of local rules, that's the next stop on the trail, is what local rules apply to you. So you figured out what statute applies to you, and assume here the Myers-Millis-Brown Act applies to you, and you start looking at that at Government Code Section 3505 and the sections that follow it. What about the local rules? What local rules apply to you? Well, that's really important that you look at those. In most places, those local rules are going to be called the Employer-Employee Relations Ordinance, or Employer-Employee Relations Resolution, or something like that. Once in a while, you'll see them tucked away in personnel rules or civil service rules. Not usually, but these rules will describe decertifications, decertification elections, and the decertification procedure. If you find those local rules, they need to be followed to the letter. If there are no local rules, and you see this some places where they do not have any local rule at all that tells you how to do or how to deal with or how to defend a decertification, then the PERB rules will apply to you. And they're all very similar. There may be some subtle differences, and you need to be aware of those, but the PERB rules might apply to you if your employer does not have any decertification local rules. Now, the next step, sometimes called the first step in getting the decertification process going, is you have to file, under almost any rule set, a petition for decertification, referred to in short as the petition. Now, the petition needs to contain very clear language, and if your local rules say what the petition needs to contain, you need to copy it letter for letter for letter. If you're defending a decertification, look carefully at the language in the petition. The petition generally needs to say that the employee organization that is filing the petition wishes to decertify the incumbent employee organization or union and desires to insert itself or desires to insert another organization as the exclusive representative of that bargaining unit. So that's the decertification petition, and that's the first document, the first step in the process. All right, so you got this figured out so far? Here's the toughest thing: when to file the decertification petition. It's a critical question. You're going to have a window period, again, depending on your local rules and depending on your contract you're working under. As you probably know, your contract is also referred to as your Memorandum of Understanding, or your MOU, right? Okay, so you need to know a few things. First of all, look at your MOU. Are you still in your contract period, or has your contract expired? If your contract has expired, in all likelihood, your window period is open. In other words, you could file a decertification petition at any time. Let's assume you're still within your contract period. You need to know the expiration date. So let's say the expiration date is, the contract runs through December 31st of a given year. That's your expiration date, and that's important to know because your local rules will have a timetable within which you are required to file your petition. You'll have a window. Like a common one, under the PERB rules or under the Myers-Millis-Brown Act, is the window period of not less than 90, but not more than 120 days from the expiration of your MOU. So how do you figure that out? Well, the only way I can get it straight is you get out the calendar. Get out the calendar and start counting back days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Every day on the calendar, include Saturday, include Sunday, and those day of worship, include it, and count backwards. And get to that period, if you're an MMBA jurisdiction, get to that period that's between 90 and 120 days. It's going to be a 30-day block of time, approximately 90 plus days before the expiration of your contract. That is your window period. And it's important you know when that is, because if you're filing a decertification petition and you file it after that window period closes, you can't do it. You're going to be barred. Unless, of course, your contract later expires and it might reopen again for you. So it's very important to get everything organized in advance and know when that window period is. And remember, to know when the window period is, you need to know your MOU expiration date, You need to be familiar with your local rules, and again, you need to know what statute or state law applies to you.